Hi and welcome back. In this video we're looking at default values for parameters. If you already know a bit of Python, you may wonder why we didn't cover this earlier. And quite simply the reason is that we didn't need it. Now we do, and we're going to start looking at a couple of instances where having default values for parameters is going to be useful. So let's get right on it. Whenever we call a function that has parameters, we are expected to give it an equal number of parameters. We already know this, so I'll show you some example code. Here's some accounts, like a checking account. Let's say that has $958 in it, or pounds if you're in the UK. 695.50 in your savings. It's a pretty respectable amount of money. Then we're going to have a function add balance, which is going to take an amount, which is going to be a float, and a name, which is going to be a string, and it's going to return a float. Notice how I'm including in here the type hinting that we've looked at in the past. Also, just for completeness, I'm going to say function to update the balance of an account and return the new balance. Include that doc string in there just so you know what this function is all about. As you can see, this function add balance is going to update the balance of an account and return the new balance. The two arguments it takes are the amount to increase the balance by and the name of the account that we're going to change. Then it's going to go over to your accounts global dictionary and it's going to change it. So, accounts name plus equal amount. And then it's going to return accounts name. It's going to return the new balance of the account. Accounts name, for example, for checking is going to be 1958. Let's say we say 200 in here. It's going to go increase it by 200. I'm not even going to try to do maths here. Then it's going to return the new amount of accounts name. So that should be a float. However, what we can do, of course, is add balance 500.00 to savings, and then print account savings, and it should tell us the new balance, which should be in the 4000s. Accounts savings. As you can see, 4,195.5. Notice how the 0 at the end gets dropped, but in my code I like having two decimal places for currency, just to keep things clearer. What you didn't know that you could do is you can say that by default, all new balances are going to go to your checking account. So the name here is going to be checking by default. And the way we do that is we add equal checking. Okay, so the name is a string and its default value is checking. That means that if we do not pass a string to this argument, which we can do now, we cannot pass a string to it. We cannot pass anything to it. And we print out the checking at the end, we should see it has increased by $500 or 500 units. If you don't want to use type hinting, then all you have to do is get rid of that. Okay, and this stays the same, name equals checking. And that's that. Okay. Frequently, actually, if you don't have type hinting, you'll see this written like so, without the spaces. And when you do have type hinting, you'll see it written like so, all with spaces. It's up to you how many spaces you want to put in there, whether you want to put spaces or not spaces. Totally fine. Now, something important that you have to know about these named arguments, this is what they're called as soon as you have the default argument there, is that you cannot have this here. Sorry. You cannot have this here. This will be illegal. And when you run it, it'll tell you here. Syntax error. Non-default argument follows default argument. So you cannot do this. Any argument that has a default value has to follow arguments that do not have default value. So in this case, the amount does not have a default value. The name does. So the name has to go at the end. And if you have many arguments, some of which have default values, they must all go at the end. Okay? That's it. This is default values for arguments. You can have many arguments, many default values, one default value per argument, of course. And we're going to learn more about these default values and how to use them in subsequent videos, in just a couple of videos. In fact, in the next video and in coming videos too. So that's it for this one. I'll see you on the next one.